Unit 12. Speaking 2. B. Listen to some students answering the questions. Do you agree with any of the points they make? 1.
Should prisoners be released early if they show remorse or seem to be rehabilitated?
I'm not sure. I guess you could say that there must be some incentive to behave well in prison. I mean, if you feel there's no hope of getting out before 20 years, say, is up, there's no reason to improve yourself. On the other hand, criminals that commit terrible crimes really shouldn't be released until they've served their whole sentence. 2.
Would there be so much crime if people were more equal?
I think there'd still be crime. I mean, certain crimes are committed by people from any background. But perhaps there would be less crime and certainly less crimes that are driven by need, you know? Like theft and robbery and so on. I'm quite sure that there are prisoners everywhere who are thinking that if they'd had a few more opportunities when they were younger, they wouldn't be behind bars now.
3.
Is crime ever acceptable if driven by extreme poverty?
I don't think you can say a crime is acceptable or that you condone it, but you might say it becomes more understandable or forgivable. You know, if your children were hungry, you might decide to steal some food from a shop for them. 4.
Is the main role of prison to punish or to rehabilitate offenders?
I don't think prison should be just a punishment. That's like an eye for an eye philosophy. I'm against the death penalty because it's so clearly just a punishment. Prison should also be a deterrent. I mean, it should discourage people from committing crime. That's why prisons must be places that people are afraid of, not too soft. As for rehabilitation, I don't know. Yes, a period in prison should rehabilitate the offender, but I am not convinced that really happens very often. I read that most people released from prison commit more
Unit
crime.
12. Speaking 2. Pronunciation check. Listen to some native speakers saying the sentences from the grammar check. 1.
If you feel there's no hope of getting out before 20 years, say, is up, there's no reason to improve yourself.
2.
Would there be so much crime if people were more equal?
3.
If I hadn't clicked the window with the offer, it wouldn't have happened.
4.
There are prisoners everywhere who are thinking that if they'd had a few more opportunities when they were younger, they wouldn't be behind bars
Unit
now.
12. Listening 1. B. Listen and match the extracts 1 to 3 with the pictures A to C. Extract 1. Hello, what can I do for you?
I've just had my purse stolen.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Where was this?
In the high street. I didn't phone from there as someone told me the police station was so close.
OK. Well, how long ago did this happen?
Just now. I came straight here.
I'll put 2:20 then, shall I? That's 10 minutes ago.
Yes, OK. I don't really mind. Is there anything you can do? I mean, is there any chance of finding whoever stole it?
Well, tell me what happened first and then we'll see. Did somebody grab the purse from you? Did you see the person?
No, it was a pickpocket. The purse was in a loose bag that I was carrying over my shoulder. I didn't realise it was missing until I was in a shop buying something.
Ah, so it could have been stolen longer than 10 minutes ago.
No, well, certainly not much longer than 10 minutes. I had it just before that when I bought something in another shop.
I'll be honest. If you didn't see anybody and you're not sure exactly when this happened, there's not much chance of catching anybody. We don't know who we're looking for. The best thing now is if you give me some details and describe the purse. Very often, thieves take what they want and then throw a bag or purse away. You might get it back and some of whatever was in it. Now, what's your name?
Joanna Moore.
Is that double O and an E on the end?
Yes.
Is that name on anything in the purse?
I I don't know. Yes, it'll be on the debit cards, if they're still in the purse. It'll be on my student ID card too.
OK. I'll take an address and so on in a moment. Tell me what the purse looked like first.
It's silver with a golden clasp.
Gold clasp.
No, just coloured gold, I mean. It's not an especially expensive purse. It has a sort of check design. I mean checks sort of in the leather, not different colour checks.
OK. And what was in it?
There was about £70 cash, 2 debit cards and a credit card. As I say, my student ID was in there and probably my student bus pass too.
And nothing else was taken from the bag on your shoulder?
No, thankfully no. I think they just reached in and took it out.
Extract 2.
Now, this may seem really obvious, but always lock before you leave. In an average year, over 5,000 houses are burgled because the occupier fails to lock their front door. It's easy to forget to lock the front door, especially when you're in a hurry or distracted, and you'd be amazed how many people just don't bother if they're popping out to the local shop or on a school pickup. It only takes 5 minutes to get in and make off with a DVD player, laptop or iPod when the occupier makes it so easy. Leaving the front door unlocked on just one occasion is enough. The vast majority of burglars are opportunists. They look for an easy way to get in that won't take long and won't arouse suspicion. The front door is often the first thing they try. Burglars choose a target that presents them with the fewest obstacles. Again, this may seem obvious, but a building that appears to be unoccupied and insecure is far more likely to be targeted than one which is properly secured. Access to open windows, even at the top of the building, are an invitation, as are unlocked gates to the rear of a property and high fences or trees that obscure a natural view. Needless to say, leaving ladders out where they can be used to assist a break-in is asking for trouble. People who live in multi-occupancy blocks should be mindful not to grant entry to people they don't know via an intercom system, and to be suspicious of anyone who appears to be trying to follow them into the building.
Extract 3.
Police,
Oh, hello. I want to report a car theft.
your car's been stolen.
No, my car's been broken into. Somebody's smashed the back windscreen and stolen quite a few bits and pieces. Can you send somebody here?
Well, probably, yes. But tell me what's been stolen first.
A briefcase and a jacket. There were quite a few valuable items in the case too.
Such as?
My mobile, an iPod. Oh, and 2 flight tickets as well. I'd forgotten about them. Oh, makes me so...
Yes, I understand. Can I ask why you left the items in the car? I mean, presumably they were in easy reach if they deliberately targeted the back windscreen.
I only stopped for a few minutes to nip into a restaurant to give somebody a message. I was double parked, for goodness sake. I can't believe that nobody saw or heard it happen. It's a busy enough street.
OK, so where are you exactly?
In Upper Street. About 30 metres down the road from La Fourchette.
How do you spell that?
La, L-A, and then F-O-U-R-C-H-E-T-T-E.
30 metres north or south?
Towards the tube station. That's north, isn't it?
Yes. And what's the name?
Brian Rafferty. That's R-A-F-F-E-R-T-Y.
OK, I'll get a patrol car to you as soon as possible, and they'll take further details. I can't promise it'll be immediate, but it'll be in the next 15 minutes or so.
OK, thanks. Unit 12, Listening 2. A. Listen to the first extract again and complete the police report. Unit 12, Listening 3. A. Listen to the second and third extracts again and answer the questions. Workbook. Unit 12, Listening. B. Listen and answer the questions.
Rehabilitating an offender once he or she has become involved in crime, and especially once he or she has served a prison sentence, is a massive challenge. The vast majority of people simply have no idea of the difficulties and disadvantages that most convicted criminals have had to deal with in the past and still have to cope with on a daily basis. To start with, many prisoners lack the most basic qualifications and have little or no experience of employment. Few have what we all consider to be social contacts or meaningful friendships, and most have housing problems of one kind or another. These practical difficulties are often compounded by drug, alcohol, and mental health issues. In short, most members of the prison population have experienced a lifetime of social exclusion. Here are some disturbing statistics. Prisoners are more than 10 times as likely to have been in care as a child than the average person, and more than 10 times as likely to have been a regular truant from school. They're far more likely to be unemployed and far more likely to be or have been a young parent. Prisoners are almost 3 times as likely as the average person to have had a family member convicted of a criminal offence. The level of a typical prisoner's basic skills will shock many of you. 80% have the writing skills, 65% the numeracy skills, and 50% the reading skills of a child under 11 years old, and the situation is deteriorating. Prisoners under 20 years of age have an unemployment rate and school exclusion background far worse than older prisoners. It's generally now accepted that handing out a prison sentence actually exacerbates the factors associated with offending and reoffending. A third of prisoners, for example, lose their home while in prison. 2/3 lose their job, and a fifth face increased financial problems. Nearly half lose contact with their family. There's also the likelihood of mental and physical health deteriorating further and exposure to drugs, whether already using them or not. Let me tell you about a real case. Annette lost her accommodation as a result of being in prison. Nobody talked to her when she arrived, or during the following months about how she could keep her house, or what she could do to ensure that she had somewhere to live on release. Her rent arrears accumulated and she was evicted. Her request for early release was rejected because of the absence of an approved address. When she was finally released, her local authority refused to provide accommodation because of her previous rent arrears. You may find this story incredible, but it happens over and over. So, is there a solution? Well, I want to talk to you about whether there